Snezana Pezin here, owner of Sentience Personal Training and personal trainer. Today in this video I'm going to share with you the secret to healthy weight without calorie counting and having to weigh and measure your food. In fact, you'll be so surprised with what this little secret is, you probably would have thought, why didn't I think of this earlier? It makes so much sense. And that little secret is hunger and listening to our hunger. So my question for you is, do you feel hungry at every meal? Oftentimes, majority of my clients will tell me that they never feel hungry and they eat because they feel like, because they've seen it, not necessarily they feel like, it's usually a feel like it, more of an emotional feel like it, but usually because it's 10:30 in the morning and that's morning tea time. Usually it's because they've seen something that they like. Oftentimes the response isn't necessarily to hunger. That's what we're going to be talking about today, and it is the absolute secret. When you can nail responding to hunger only and eating in such a way that you are hungry throughout the day, you will be really surprised at how much your weight will shift, especially that weight that you haven't been able to budge. And also you'll feel so much more empowered because you're not having to weigh and measure food. So let's have a look what hunger actually is. Hunger is a direct communication from the body that it needs nutrients. So it is a message from your body, a direct communication telling you that the body needs nutrients. It's run out of something in particular. It's needing something in particular to be able to continue to sustain your movement and your activity and just your general bodily daily functions. So basically, if you are not feeling hungry, then you shouldn't be giving your body any food because it's not asking for it. Let's take a look at the hunger scale here now. Starting from 1, which is physical starvation, feeling weak and dizzy, and getting to number 10, which is so full you feel sick. And understanding this hunger scale will really dictate when you should eat and how you should feel before and after you eat. So let's start on this end of the scale where we're feeling very hungry, irritable, low energy levels, and large amounts of stomach growling. This is a point that we do not want to get to. 2 and below on the hunger scale is something that we do want to completely avoid, and simply because at this point in time it's really hard for you to make good choices. It's hard for you to get to a point of planning something, and it's hard to stick to any guidelines around healthy eating and weight loss. At this point in time, your body is in survival mode and it's wanting the fattiest, sugariest, most instant thing that it can, and it wants it now. It's also very difficult to control how much you are eating at this point in time. So what we do want to do is we want to start to eat at about 3, where we're pretty hungry, the stomach is beginning to growl, we're a bit distracted from our work and we're thinking about our snack. Then if we go along the scale, we get to satisfied, neither hungry nor full, slightly full. So going further down the hunger scale, we get to this point here, which is 6, where you're feeling slightly full, pleasantly full. That's at the point where I recommend people eat until they're that feeling of that 80% full. There's definitely some space, you could definitely have more, but you're really feeling quite satisfied with what you've had. Where we want to avoid going on this side of the hunger scale is getting to feeling stuffed, very uncomfortable, your stomach aches and so full you feel sick. Anytime that you get that feeling of, wow, that was too much, it's a direct communication again from your body telling you it was too much, I didn't need it, I'd have no real use for it at this point in time, so I'm just going to store it for you as fat. That is the equation. So if we take a look at the next slide, timing as portion control, which is a healthy way of portion controlling your meals. So let's take a look at what this means. Here's our meal here. We're going to eat it till we feel satisfied, 80% full. This gives us enough nutrients to take us out to 3 to 4 hours later. 3 to 4 hours later, we're feeling hungry again. We sit in that slight hunger for 10, 15, 20 minutes. and then we eat our meal. If we take a look at this slide, this is overeating and non-hungry eating. So with this slide, we are having a meal here. It's way too much for us. We're having that feeling of too much in our tummies. This, though, gives us the nutrients to take us out way beyond 3 to 4 hours. It might give you enough nutrients to stretch you out to 5 hours or 6 hours. We oftentimes see this on a Sunday morning breakfast when people have it at, say, 8 o'clock in the morning, and they're not really hungry again until 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that gives us a clear indication that we've had way too much to eat. What happens here generally with non-hungry eating is that even though we've still got enough nutrients in our system to fire our bodily functions and our activity, 3 to 4 hours later, because of my advice or somebody else's advice, you know that you need to eat every 3 to 4 hours, a meal is consumed, but you're not even hungry. So what happens is you've got this overlap of calories where the body didn't need any extra nutrition. You've put it in, and again, there's that sense of didn't need it, it's there now, what am I going to do with this nutrition? The body just stores it as fat in preparation for potentially another time where you may need it. It's that survival mode. Our body's looking after us, but leading to weight gain. So what we are wanting to do then is making sure that we decrease the quantities so that you're giving yourself just enough nutrients to last 3 to 4 hours later, and then you can eat again. So a way to test this out for yourself is have your breakfast at 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning. By about 10:30, you should be feeling hungry again. If you do not get that experience of hunger, it means that breakfast was too big. Now, if feeling hungry throughout the day is not something that you have felt for a really long time, it will take a bit of practice to get used to the feeling, to recognize the feeling, and then to adjust the quantities to get it right so that you are hungry every 3 to 4 hours. Once you can achieve that, you will start to notice the weight gain. The weight loss. We don't want a weight gain. You will start to notice the weight loss. And what you will find, though, is as you continue to lose weight, you will also need to reduce the quantities as you go along to continue until you get to your goal weight, and then you can maintain it from there. So, some of the factors that do affect your hunger is eating nutrient-dense food. The more nutrients you have in your food, the more your body will feel satisfied, okay? Because you are feeding what it actually needs. A classic example is eating a burger or rice crackers or a donut that is lacking in nutritional value. It might give you lots of fat and lots of sugar, but it doesn't give you the other nutrients and vitamins that your body needs to sustain itself. So what we find is that quite a large meal can be eaten. The body can digest that, get through that, take the sugar and fat and store it. But at the end of the day, it hasn't been given the correct nutrients that it needs to fuel the body. So another hunger signal will be sent from the body a short period after. And the way that we can combat that is really eating nutrient-dense foods, making sure we're adding good quality fats, good proteins, lots of fruit and vegetables into your meals, nuts and seeds, all of those foods that are really dense in nutrients, and that will give you that feeling of being satisfied, and it will reduce the hunger signals. The next thing that we can do, as I mentioned already, is adding protein. Protein takes longer to digest, so it will keep you feeling fuller for longer. Making sure also that you're drinking water throughout the day and that your hunger signal is not mistaken for thirst. The other factor is getting enough sleep. When we do lack sleep, our body feels hungrier more often, and it does require more food to feel satisfied because the body and brain is up and active for longer periods than what the body is expecting it to, so you need to fuel that. So what you can do is also making sure, outside of getting that timing right in terms of playing with quantities, What you also want to do is make sure that you're only eating every 3 to 4 hours and nothing in between. So one of the things that can affect our weight is getting in mini snacks or nibbling, or finishing off kids' leftovers, or other bits and pieces that can creep into the day. Boredom, being distracted from your work and trying something here or adding something there, and just that grazing throughout the day. We want to avoid that and only eat between those 3 to 4 hour parameters. The other thing that, as I've mentioned, is making sure that you're reducing your quantities to cause hunger every 3 to 4 hours. Oftentimes I'll hear clients say that they're not waking up hungry, and this is purely because if you look back at the previous meal, so we're always looking at the previous meal. The previous meal in this case will probably dinner or a supper or a snack before bed, and obviously that was too much and possibly too late. So waking up not feeling hungry, one of the factors, there are a couple of different ones, but predominantly the factor is that the previous meal was too much. So by adjusting and eating less at your dinner or not having any snacks after dinner will really leave you in the morning feeling hungry. And then you can start that really good cycle of just eating enough. 3 to 4 hours later, you're hungry again, another snack that will tie you over for another 3 hours, and your day continues on in that way, in a healthy way. And once you can really nail that, respond only to hunger and stop when you've just had enough, you will find that you will get to your goal weight and you will be able to stay there. So that's the end of the presentation today. Get started today, start playing with those quantities, start listening out for your hunger, paying attention to your body, and enjoy the benefits of doing that.